Hi everyone, please enjoy my interview with Chris Marrs Piliero on his film Appofeniacs. Let's go. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for talking with me. I really appreciate it.
Oh no, for sure. Thanks for having me.
I want to make sure, is it pronounced Appofeniacs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure before I started mispronouncing it wrong.
No, yeah, you're good.
So I did watch it and I do want to tell you it honestly blew my mind.
Awesome. Right on.
It's like it's pretty much up of what I like. Like it was gory. I love that.
Right,
So,
right.
um, I I really loved it. So I'm super excited to chat with
Awesome.
you
Thank you
about
so
it.
much. That's so cool to hear. Right on.
So I do want to start like kind of at the core. What inspired the film, and was there a specific moment that made you say like this is a horror story that I'm waiting for?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say around like 2018, I saw my first version of a deep fake, and I was fascinated with it. I love keeping up with technological advances in that regard, and my immediate thought was, this is really cool, and it's going to be used nefariously. Like 100%,
Hmm.
this is going to quickly become uh, you know, very it's going to quickly become like very good in quality,
Hmm.
and people are going to use it to. Can I cuss
Yes.
before? Okay. And people are going to use it to fuck with other people and do bad things. So it was kind of this immediate thing of, oh, I this would be really fun to use in a horror film. So I would say like the seed was an immediate plant in my brain in 2018, and then it just kind of sat with me, and I didn't really know how I wanted to tell the story because one important aspect for me that hopefully comes across in the film is I wanted it to be more on a small granular level, whereas there's plenty of stories that talk about supercomputers and evil AI and everything that can and most likely will happen.
Hmm.
I wanted to focus on the smaller level of things that are even kind of trivial that can easily snowball into chaos.
Yeah.
So that was kind of floating in my brain for several years, and as I tried to figure out what would be the best way to go about it, and then it's just one of those things that just December of 2022, like like I don't remember the exact day. I feel like it was like early to mid December,
Hmm.
and I just remember all of a sudden I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do it with multiple storylines. That's how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have one person doing it, and yeah, and I'm gonna have multiple storylines that intersect. So that way, I'm not having him just do it to the same group of people because that would I would think that like it'd be a little bit less believable that like the same group of people, all these deep fakes are happening to them. I would think that somebody would be like, this is questionable. Like this, but if they're spread out, then it's way easier to have the misinformation play its part. So yeah, and so then I quickly got to work on it and just kind of told myself I'm gonna make this in within the like next yearish, which I
Hmm.
did. And now here we are.
I love it. You brought up the whole it being chaos, and I want to say the cast you can clearly see is all in on the chaos. What makes it like directing them during this filming? How was that process?
Oh, I mean, it was a lot of fun. It was for such a small film. It was kind of crazy to have such a large ensemble cast,
Hmm.
and I was so stoked that. And kudos to the casting directors, Sal and Jonathan. I was so stoked on the cast that we put together. They did such a great job, and they were so in it. It was fun. I mean, we shot. It was fun, but it was also brutal. Like we
Hmm.
shot a lot of overnights in a row. In the desert, it was fucking cold. It was rough. Like our last day or last night in the desert it was so cold that it started to hail. So we had to like pause. We couldn't even like we had to start shooting a little bit later than planned because it just
Yeah.
was hailing ice on us. So that's how cold it was. It was pretty brutal, but man, they were troopers. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was fun having the different actors, like certain scenes, them like debating the what's real and what's not,
Mhm.
which was a lot of fun. That was cool hearing those kind of conversations. Having like the kind of the theme of the film kind of play out in real time in real life, like as like the cast and crew is like discussing like, oh, I think this person's lying, or I think that they did this because of that, or they said this because of that. So that was a lot of fun.
I love it. I feel like you can definitely tell, especially with the cast, they give amazing performances. And when I was watching it, I feel like I could tell like everyone was just kind of having a good time, and like I feel like everyone was so like you can feel the passion of the movie while watching it.
Right on. That's so cool to hear, and I'm sure they're gonna love hearing that.
Yeah.
That's yeah, that's really awesome. Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I think they did an incredible job. Like the enthusiasm, I like the enthusiasm and the dedication to it.
Hmm.
It was awesome, and that was something that was really important to me, and it was so rad to see it happening while we were shooting. There's moments of fear and dread that um that like I was thoroughly impressed behind the camera. I don't want to go into detail on a particular scene, but there was definitely a particular scene where there's lots of fear and screaming for just screaming bloody murder
Hmm.
and whatnot. And I would call cut, and everyone was really quiet afterwards because the actors did such a great job, like just being in the moment, and that was so cool. That was so cool to witness. Obviously, it just speaks to their talent. But then it's also as the writer director, it's really cool to have this team of cast acting out these roles and so committed to it. So that was really gratifying to just see how in it they were. And it's nice to know that it was effective. Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Right
Something
on.
else that stuck out to me with kind of the casting and all that, or like even the writing, directing, is I feel like the movie surprised me with how character driven the movie is. And I think
Cool.
it's gonna surprise other people too. So I'm curious on how your approach with that was, like balancing brutal tech horror with giving your characters like depth.
Yeah, I'm just I'm a sucker for films that spend time with their characters. Like, I grew up on P.T. Anderson, Coen Brothers, Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Scorsese. Like, I feel like there's so many examples of their films where like you spend time with their characters, and you really get to know them, and you might spend some time of them just like hanging out and talking. I like that all of those directors, especially in their earlier work, like definitely had moments where people are just in they're in their zone, but then they're also just talking about whatever. Actually, I don't even like I said earlier, but early in their career, but it definitely applies to many of them still, and their other films. Like a random example would be just with Scorsese in The Departed. Like, there's so many moments when either the agents or the mob, like they're doing something, and then like when Jack Nicholson, when he kills that one lady, and he's like, oh, she fell funny. Things like that where it's like it's just kind of off the cuff remarks from a character that just kind of gets you to appreciate the character, and you enjoy spending time with them, whether or not they're good or bad. I love moments like that. And so yeah, so I basically just, I wanted to make a movie of something that I would enjoy, and I hope other people enjoy it as well. But yeah, I enjoy hanging out with characters and
Yeah.
having them shoot the shit and do things like that.
I agree with that, especially because for us viewers, it makes us have some type of emotional connection with them and we care about what's gonna happen or if something's gonna happen to them. So that was something that really stuck out to me that I wanted to ask you about.
Right on, right on. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. That's rad.
As horror fans, I feel like we love, the extreme and all that stuff, but I feel like this film does hit with kind of like deep fakes and AI and all that stuff, and kind of could put a little bit of real fear into that. So, what do you think makes tech horror scarier than something that's like ghosts or slashers?
Well, I would say even beyond tech horror, I would say like what makes the deep fake horror
Hmm.
so scary is that how realistic how realistic it is and how easy it is. And that was just something that I really wanted to hammer the point in this film. Without and I also made a point of not spending a lot of time on the phone, not spending a lot of time with the technology because I really wanted to well, one, I wanted to focus on the human element because this
Hmm.
is this is all about how, yeah, the technology exists. It's there. It's the catalyst, but it's the catalyst. It's being used as the tool, and the humans are creating the fallout. The humans are creating the chaos. And That's kind of what's so scary about this technology is this how easy it is. That like we all fucking have the ability on our phones, and we all have a phone,
Hmm.
and and they all have the ability to make something that looks indistinguishable from real life now. And it's just going to get better and better and more difficult to decipher. And when it comes to people's apophenia, which that's what the title of the film is, Appofeniacs. It derives from the term apophenia, which is basically just our need and desire and tendency to find meaning in things that are meaningless, things that
Hmm.
have no connection. Like we insert connections, and the like I got a little sidetracked, but like so basically like just saying that like our confirmation bias is so easy to exploit, and so that to me is like the scariest thing with these deep fakes. They're so realistic that if you go into viewing one with a certain mind frame and it validates that mind frame, how many people are going to put in the effort to distinguish whether or not it is truthful?
Hmm.
Uh, when stuff like that is already happening with just like a random news article or a random internet social media post or whatnot, like people already do that with that kind of stuff. Now imagine you're looking at a video of and it's fake, but it looks completely realistic and it aligns with whatever your viewpoint is about a certain subject. That's kind of scary. Because at some point, even like right now, it is tricking a lot of people. Right now, there's a lot of people who aren't totally savvy to the fact that this technology is super legit already.
Hmm.
Even when even when it's like just standard, everyone knows this stuff exists and everyone knows that it's super difficult to know what's real or not. I question whether or not people will even bother to put in the effort even at that point. Once everyone knows that AI stuff is out there tricking people, then like a new factor will come into play of people like let's say if we have to like create something to tell whether or not something is real or not, right? Like because I feel like that's kind of gonna have to be like our answer.
Right.
Like we're gonna have to figure out a way for people to distinguish what's real and what's not. But I feel like once we're at that point, I feel like a lot of people will question whether or not the thing that is telling you this is real or not, whether or not that thing is
Hmm.
being truthful. And
Yeah.
so we're going to be caught in this like this basically this pit, endless this endless pit of denial and questioning things. And so what's the easiest thing to do when things are confusing, when things are untrustworthy? The easiest thing to do is kind of just to fall back on your confirmation bias, to be like, well, this is how I feel, and I'm gonna go forward with it. I think that's the scariest thing about this.
Yeah. That was
Sorry for the super
no.
long answer. I'm really
No.
sorry.
No, you're totally fine. I love it. I love like hearing the in-depth explanations of it. But those were definitely the important questions that I wanted to ask you, and I loved hearing about it. The movie was honestly such a trip, and I cannot wait to talk about it on my page. I know this is going to be a movie that like a lot of people probably will be surprised by and like not expect to like have it on their radar, but then once they see it, it's like, okay, yeah. So I'm very excited to talk about it on my page, and I really appreciate you talking with me about it.
Wow, thank you so much. That's so cool. I really appreciate it. Thank you on behalf of me and the cast and crew. Thank you for all of that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thank you.